It's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, my name's Vicky Marie. I'm in mainland Spain, and it is 25 to 7 in the evening. And I thought I'd just come on and just give you an update in this case we've been following of little Sara Sharif. It's such a sad, tragic case. Just to remind anybody who doesn't know about this case, Sara, oh gosh, where do you start with it? Sara's father and her stepmother and her uncle and her 4 siblings went off to Pakistan. And the day after they went to Pakistan, Sara's father, Irfan, phoned the police and in Woking in Berkshire in the UK to tell them that Sara was in the house that they just left behind, deceased. And the police went there. There is a playlist because I've been covering this case for quite a while now. The police went there and found little Sara deceased in her pajamas, in bed, in a bunk bed. Let me just put a closer up picture of Sara. And she was dead, and she's 10 years old. And her father came out with a load of crap that he had legally punished her because she was naughty, didn't mean to kill her. It was an accident, and her stepmother referred to it as an incident. And anyway, there they were over in Pakistan. To cut a long story short, eventually the 3 adults, Irfan, her father, who's on the left of this picture, if you can call him a father, doesn't deserve to be called a father, and then Batul, who's in the middle, that's Sara's stepmother, and Faizan, who is Irfan's brother. The adults, the 3 adults, they came back to face the music. That's the one good thing that they did. They came back to the UK and they were arrested at Gatwick Airport as soon as they arrived in the UK. Now, the other children, there's 4 other children. Sara's full biological brother and 3 other children that were Batul's and Irfan's children. They're still in Pakistan. They haven't been brought back. So they are witnesses, really, to what happened with Sara. But anyway, I doubt very much if they'll be brought back. And they must be with family over there in Pakistan. And these 3 are on trial for Sara's murder. Now, it's looking more and more like, in the beginning, Irfan admitted freely that he had killed Sara, though he said it was an accident, not deliberate. Now he's saying it wasn't him. It was the stepmother, Batul. She killed Sara, and he is, covering up for her, I suppose. Anyway. Who knows what's going to come out of this? But it seems like Faisal, his brother, maybe did not have anything to do with the killing of Sara. But of course, he was involved with the, fleeing the country. It's said that he paid for the tickets, because the plane tickets, can you imagine the plane tickets for 3 adults, 4 children to go to Pakistan? They wouldn't have been cheap at the last minute as well. So it wasn't as if they waited for a bargain. I mean, they literally decided they were going to go, and the next day they were gone. When the police went to the home, they found little Sara there. So they'd left her on her own overnight. I mean, I know she was dead, but that just seems horrible, doesn't it? That little girl, to just leave her there in her pajamas in a bunk bed alone. It's just horrible, chilling to think about. So this is where we are. So their trial is continuing. I think we're about into the 3rd week of the trial now. I've been reporting on it every now and again, every couple of days, when there's any news to say what's happened. None of it is good news. It's horrible. So it turns out Sarah had just so many injuries. It looks like she was subjected over 2 years, the 2 years that she was with her father, because this is her mother, Olga. She's Polish. And for some reason, when her and Irfan separated, initially I think the two children, Sarah and her brother, were with Olga, but a court awarded Irfan full custody, but Olga did have access. She did have visitation rights, but for some reason over time, she said it just got more and more difficult to visit. Maybe he was blocking it, I don't know, but she didn't visit, and all this happened. Sarah and Olga didn't seem to be able to get properly involved with it. But it was Olga who had to, unfortunately, identify Sarah. And apparently she found it difficult to recognise her. Her face was so swollen with the treatment that she'd received. So, it's a horrible story. Oh, so what happened then as well? Just coming up to before Sarah was actually killed, suddenly she started appearing at school in the hijab, which she hadn't worn a hijab before. None of the family wear a hijab, boys or girls, men or women. And then suddenly Sarah started wearing the hijab, and it's thought that it's because she had so many bruises. That the hijab just covered them up. So that's the reason they started putting her in a hijab. Then they said she was getting bullied at school because of the hijab, and they took her out of school and started homeschooling her. So Sarah fell even more further down the cracks of social services. They were known to social services, though we don't know exactly why or the circumstances, but the school had reported them to social services. So, everybody failed Sarah, her own family, social services, etc., the school. Nobody stepped in and helped Sarah, unfortunately. So, Sarah, towards the end of her life, would have been dressed like this in the hijab. Whereas earlier than that, she wasn't. She was dressed in a Western way. All the family dress in a Western way, boys or girls, men or women. Batul, the stepmother, she doesn't wear a hijab either, normally. To me, I think she wears it when it suits her to wear it. She wore it while she was in Pakistan, but probably in Pakistan she had to. But I think on a normal day-to-day life in the UK, Batul, the stepmother in the middle here, she did not wear a hijab. So let's have a look at the latest developments in the trial. And as I say, nothing cheerful here, I'm afraid. So, just a bit trigger warning. I'm going to tell you about abuse of a child. That's all unraveling now. The thing is, I don't think there's no doubt here about what happened to Sara. Sara was abused and she was murdered, maybe not deliberately, intention to kill, but she was beaten so badly that sooner or later she was going to die, one way or another, of her injuries. So really the case that they're trying here is who did it? Who was the killer? And also what responsibility? Because all these three lived in that house. They all knew about it. Whether it was Irfan was the one who was doing it or whether it was Batul that was the one that was doing it. They were all complicit in it because it was happening in that house. The neighbours heard all sorts of things. So you can bet that actually in the house, whoever was living in that house knew what was happening to Sarah. So in that way, in my opinion, they're all complicit, aren't they? Let me just put Sarah's picture up while I just say hello to everyone, and then we're going to look at the latest developments in the trial. Hi, David. Hi, Silver. Oh, yeah, so it's nearby to you. Chumba. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Dottie. Oh, it said Woking in Berkshire on what I was looking at, but anyway. Yeah, how do people get away with it in this day and age? Hi, Wesley. Gosh, that's twice, Wesley, you've been here on time. Yeah, Dottie, he rang the authorities, he confessed, but he's taken that back now, and now he's saying the stepmother did it. Hi, Lorna. Okay, Surrey, is it? Woking in Surrey, yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. And as I say, just, be aware that you're not going to hear anything nice. It's all quite horrible what happened, Sarah. So what's been... Oh, what's come up in the trial this week are the WhatsApp messages between Batul, the stepmother, and her sister, and these have what have been read out in court this week. So Sara Sharif was an innocent soul, the murder accused said. A woman accused of killing 10-year-old Sara Sharif had told her sister the girl was an innocent soul who needed love, a court heard. Sarah's stepmother, Baynash Batul, also said Sarah's father, Irfan Sharif, had beaten up his daughter as she had been naughty. I mean, naughty. Children are naughty. But, there's it's just ridiculous, isn't it? If your child is naughty, you do not beat them to within an inch of their life. That's not what you do. You punish them, you put them on the naughty step or whatever. It's just to use that as an excuse. It's almost like he's saying it's Sarah's fault for being naughty. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh dear. No, I'm not. So, yeah, she sent these WhatsApp messages in 2022, which is it. So Sarah was found last year in August, I think it was, in Woking on the 10th of August last year. So that was 2023. These WhatsApp messages that we're going to talk about, these were in 2022. And remember that jurors had previously heard that Sarah had been hooded, burned, bitten, beaten during more than 2 years of abuse. And I still think the root of this, I mean, was he hitting all the other children the same? I mean, we don't know, because of course they've taken those children away. We don't know that it was just Sarah that he was targeting with his cruelty, or was he treating the other children? Because there's 5 other children. Is there 4 or 5 other children in that household? Were they being treated in the same way by this man? Anyway, so now they were also previously told by the prosecution that the accuracy of messages sent by Miss Batul to her sisters over a number of years was in dispute, as they only reflected what she was choosing to tell them. I think this is going to be the big thing in this case. He's saying it was her, she's saying it was him. Who was it? Because she, as David, as you said, the child, Sarah, she did have a bite mark on her that wasn't from either of these 2 men. So was it from Baynash? I don't know. this is what the jury have got to try and sort out. Anyway, Miss Batul sent images of Sarah's injuries to her sister, Candila Sabui, but then she deleted them from the message stream, the court heard. The recovered images showed multiple injuries to Sarah. In May 2021, Miss Batul told her sister she wanted to report Irfan for beating the crap out of Sarah. Why didn't she report him? Anyway, apparently she said she's covered in bruises, literally black, adding the poor girl can't walk. She literally fainted in the kitchen in the morning, and he made her do sit-ups all night. And as I'm reading this now, I'm thinking, was it him or was it her? Because he was a taxi driver, isn't he? And was he out and about working and she was doing these things? I don't know. Just don't know. Anyway, this is the images recorded on CCTV at Heathrow Airport as they went off to Pakistan. So they've got all the children in the back there. He's driving Irfan, Fainash in the front. Of course, the woman's in the back with the children. Let's watch that again. And off they're going, knowing that they're leaving Sarah dead at home, her body alone in the house, as they go off to Pakistan. Gosh. In one exchange in February 2022, Miss Batul messaged another sister, Amima Shahid, to say that Mr. Sharif was beating Sarah up at home. And Miss Batul went on to say that if something happens to Sarah, I will not be able to forgive myself. So it's like she knew something was going to happen to Sarah. So this is them at the airport. So you've got, this is Bainash, as you can see, not in a hijab. Irfan, the father, and Faizan, the brother, and I suppose these are the children round about. So on the 24th of November 2022, Miss Batul messaged Miss Shahid saying she was too stressed to talk and that she and Mr. Sharif had separated. So again, that was the year before Sarah died. Sorry, I'm just making sure I haven't missed anyone coming in. I said hello to Lorna, I think. Hi, Lorna. I think I've said hello to everybody. Hopefully. Hi, Heather. So, Miss Batul said on that day, on the 24th of November 2022, that Mr. Sharif was going to Pakistan the following day, adding he went crazy today and that he had taken money and a passport. 6 months before she died, before Sarah died, Miss Shahid messaged Batul to ask Bainab. Oh, just killing some flies. There's loads of flies today. I think because it's quite a warm day, it's 20 degrees, so the flies have all come back out. So he went crazy today. He's taken money and a passport. And 6 months before Sarah died, Miss Shahid messaged Miss Batul to ask how Sarah was. I feel so sorry for her, the aunt said. And Miss Batul replied, she's fine. I explained to her like I do every night. And she added in other messages, there's something that's not right with her, like mentally. She needs to get help. She's an innocent soul. An innocent soul, man, who needs love. Anyway, on the 11th of August, the day after Sarah's body was found, Sarah's aunt blocked Miss Batul's number. I wonder why. Anyway, the court was also shown footage of the 3 accused relatives at Heathrow Airport as they left the UK for Pakistan the day before Sarah's body was found, and the trial continues. So this is what we've just seen. Let's just watch it one more time. There they are arriving at the airport with their dead daughter, just been left on her own in the house. Foul, isn't it? Absolutely foul. And then there they are in the airport. Do you think they were all scared of Irfan? Is Irfan the ringleader here? I don't know. Who knows? There's much more to come out of this trial, that's for sure. So, her stepmother, here she is in her hijab. Sara Sharif's stepmother blamed the 10-year-old's naughty behaviour for the beating she received, even suggesting she had a jinn in her. And, they don't mean the good jinn, like, the alcohol. They mean like a devil almost, isn't it? It's like she's blaming Sarah for her own abuse. So, Batul and Sharif have blamed each other for the violence in the family home in Woking, Surrey, with university student Malik claiming he was not involved, which he probably wasn't involved, but at the end of the day, he must have seen it happening. So on Thursday, jurors heard a series of WhatsApp messages between 2020 and 2023 in which Batul relayed to her sister Kandila Zaboui beatings that Sharif had allegedly carried out on Sarah. And they were accompanied by pictures of a grim-faced and bruised Sarah with the message, "Look what he's doing, delete the pictures." She said that Sharif was hitting Sarah for being naughty, rude and rebellious, and because she had cut up his clothes. Good for her. Oh, God, I hope she made his life a misery. But anyway, cut up his clothes. I mean, did she, though? Hidden keys and torn up documents. Miss Saboui advised her to listen to the Quran, and when Batul talked about going to the police, told her to calm down. I don't know if I believe this woman. I don't mean the aunt. I mean, this Batul woman. I don't know if I believe her or whether I think maybe it was her who did it. Don't know. Anyway, as early as February 2020, Batul described Sharif, that'd be Irfan, as going on a rampage, spilling hot tea, saying he was possessed. She described an anger attack after a visit to a play centre and incidents in which Sharif broke photo frames and curtains. I'm not sure if I believe this woman, whether it's her that was doing it or him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're both as bad as each other. Commenting on 10 photographs of Sarah, she wrote, "This is how bad he is beating her. I feel really sorry for her. He beat the crap out of her." Batul said that Sarah had cut her father's clothes for being mean, and Sharif was punishing her by making her stay up all night doing sit-ups. She told her sister, "She's got a jinn in her. She reminds me of me when I was young." What if it was her that was cutting up the clothes? What if it was actually Batul who was cutting the clothes up and, getting Sarah into trouble for it? Just makes me, I wouldn't be surprised. On another occasion, Batul said that Sharif went ballistic and beat Sarah up like crazy, expressing fears that he would break her arm or leg. After Batul had gone to bed, she said Sharif was in the other room making Sarah put her hands up. On May 2021, she said, "Not great in our house, it's all a bit manic. Irfan beat the crap out of Sarah and my mind is all in bits. I really want to report him." Why didn't she report him? Anyway, why the hell doesn't Irfan learn? She's covered in bruises, literally beaten black. Afterwards, she said, Sharif sat on his fat bum and played the board game Ludo. There's that house again where poor Sarah was just left dead in her bed. She went on, "Why the hell am I even letting him in the house? I'm sorry for Sarah. Poor girl cannot walk. She literally fainted in the kitchen in the morning. He made her do sit-ups all night." And that's what Sarah had done, Batul said, because she hid the keys. I mean, would Sarah have done that? You know, if she was being beaten every time she did something wrong, would she really have carried on doing those things? Just makes you wonder if she did it to sort of, try and get Sarah into trouble. Normally, do you think that normally, if a child's been beaten so badly as that, would they carry on being naughty, or was she doing it? You just feel, um, hi Angel, you just feel that maybe she was trying to get Sarah into trouble. I don't know. I can't imagine that a 10-year-old girl, or 8 when this was started, who was being beaten so badly, would still carry on doing things like cutting up his clothes or hiding the keys. Wouldn't you be terrified by them? No. I just feel that maybe she was she was she deliberately getting Sarah into trouble? I don't know. Well, we were all young ourselves. If you're scared of something when you're a kid, you don't then go on and do that thing again if somebody's really being horrible to you. If you were frightened of being beaten, would you go on and do things like hiding the keys and, cutting up someone's clothes? And then with her saying that she reminds me of me when I was young. Anyway, odd. I won't be surprised if it's Batul who's done it, the woman. I mean, they're all in it together. They're all guilty, but. So by 2022, Batul said she was planning on taking legal advice, but she was advised by her sister to give it time and not to rush. Batul wrote that Sharif had woken Sarah up to hit her because her bad behaviour got him randomly angry. So he woke her up just to hit her. In February, she wrote that Sarah was vomiting randomly and she could not breathe. Poor little girl. Later that year, Batul said that she was considering taking Sarah out of school, saying, "I don't want to, but I kind of don't have a choice. It's not hard, homeschooling. I'm just fed up of her behaviour and her fans. How can they blame her? She's 10 years old. Sarah's body is literally bruised because Irfan beat her up. I cannot even cover it up. He beat Sarah yesterday and I can't send her to school on Monday looking like that. She ripped Irfan's documents in front of him and was being rude and rebellious. She's got way too much bruises and stuff, and homeschooling isn't that hard." Referring to another image of Sarah in a hijab, Batul wrote, "You haven't even seen her body. It's a whole lot worse." Days later, she relayed that Sarah's school was worried about her and Sharif was stressed about it. In apparent reference to Sarah's injuries, she wrote, "Irfan told me to cover it up with makeup and she's going to wear sunglasses." Sunglasses? God. 2 months before Sarah died, Batul referred to Sarah's antics, telling her sister, "Irfan beat the crap out of Sarah. Yeah, he beat her up like crazy. Her oxygen level dropped really low. She's finding it hard to stay awake." And asked if Sharif had hit her on the head. Batul said, "Nah, but she's breathing really rapidly." The day before Sarah died, Miss Sabui tried to make contact, but Batul told her she was not in the mood to speak. 2 days later, the defendants were captured on CCTV as they prepared to board a flight to Pakistan from Heathrow. And then last August, police found Sarah's body in a bunk bed after Sarah called from Pakistan to say she'd beaten Sarah up too much. He had beaten Sarah up too much for being naughty. So yeah, the jurors have heard she suffered dozens of injuries, including burns and suspected human bite marks. Yeah, I just don't trust this woman at all. Oh, bless. Look at her little face. And every picture we see, she's got a smile on her face. Just awful, isn't it? Anyway, basically that's it. I just wanted to give you an update of what's happening in the trial, and of course it's continuing. I think the school did report it. They weren't known to the social services, but social services, they don't work quickly, do they? They do not work quickly. I think the school did call the police or call the social services when they saw bruises on Sarah. They did contact social services. But it's just they don't, they were known to social services, but it didn't save Sarah, unfortunately. Very strange. But sometimes you wonder, don't you? Social services. I mean, I know it's a difficult job that they do. I know that, and it must be awful. But sometimes you just think, God, what are their powers? When you get so many cases that children have been let down that we've heard of. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on the trial. I've got to go. I've got to let the big dog out from upstairs, and I've got to go and get number one son from work later. But I just wanted to give you an update on Sarah's case, on the trial, because I will be following this right through to the end. And we'll see what happens. There's much more to come out. This trial was booked for 9 weeks, and I think we're in the 3rd or 4th week, so there's a lot more yet to come out. So we'll see, and just hope somebody faces what they deserve. In fact, they all need, because even like the uncle is probably the least complicit in all this. Irfan's brother maybe did nothing to Sarah, but what he did do was kept quiet about what was going on. So, he deserves something. They all deserve. They all deserve some punishment, don't they? One way or another. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. And until I see you again, which will be very soon, as always, may your God go with you. And take care. Adios.